Welcome. In this Touchcast I'm going to be discussing cryptography. You'll be finding out what it is, where it originated, its purpose and examples of its use. What we'll do is we'll start with a quick question. What is cryptography? That's right. Cryptography basically is a simple way of securing communication, as you can see from this definition here I found on Google. But what does this mean? Well, let's imagine a scenario. Let's imagine the great military commander Julius Caesar, and he's planning on attacking his great enemy Pompey the Great. Caesar must communicate with his comrades, but he's concerned that any messages that he sends might be intercepted by Pompey. And so what he does is he decides to scramble up this written message so that it cannot be interpreted or understood by anyone apart from his comrades, who actually know the only way to descramble the message. Hence, by scrambling up the message, Caesar has secured his method of communication, or we could say, he's used cryptography. So, where did it originate? Some say that the earliest means of cryptography came from Egypt. The word cryptography itself comes from the Greek word krypto, which means to conceal, be private, hidden or secret. But in Egypt, archaeologists found what we call hieroglyphics. These things. They found them carved into monuments from the Old Kingdom of Egypt in 1900 BC. These aren't actually thought to be serious attempts at secret communications, but rather attempts at mystery, intrigue, or even amusement for illiterate onlookers. And this leads me on to my next question. What is a cipher? That's right, it's an algorithm. It's an algorithm for performing cryptography. And what this means basically is that a cipher, or an algorithm, is the way in which we actually scramble up the message. So imagine that we have some text. A, B, C. Imagine that we have this text. An algorithm is what we do with this text to actually scramble it up. So for example, our algorithm might be that we substitute the letter A with the number 1, the letter B with the number 2, and the letter C with a number 3. So if we were writing the word cab, for example, what we would do is the message would not be C-A-B. What it would actually be is 3-1-2. And our algorithm there is a substitute algorithm, whereby we are substituting letters in the alphabet for a numerical system. So that is what a cipher is. Now, history suggests that one of the first serious users of cryptography is our old friend Julius Caesar. And just like in our scenario, he actually wanted to have written communication with his comrades, but worried about those messages being intercepted. So what he did is he actually created a device that allowed him to cipher his message, and anyone that intercepted his communication would simply think that the message was written in another language. This leads me on to another question. Does anybody know the name of Julius Caesar's famous encryption device? That's right, his famous cipher was the Caesar cipher. And it looked like this. This is what the Caesar cipher looked like. It was a substitution algorithm. And basically all this means is that Caesar's algorithm famously was to substitute each letter in the alphabet with a shift of left 3. And what this means is that if he wanted to write a message that so imagine that Caesar wanted to write the message or the word do. Okay, so he wanted to write the word do. His Caesar cipher, using a shift of left 3, would substitute this letter D for the letter in the alphabet 3 before it, so that would be A. And 3 letters before the letter O in the alphabet would be L. So if you wanted to write the word do in a message, what he'd actually write is A-L. This sounds like a very simple cipher to crack, but back then it was actually groundbreaking, and no one would have thought that it was a hidden message. They simply misinterpreted it as another language. And so there's your first part 1 of cryptography.